Hey everyone, this is Mike. I'm
Hol-
here with Isaac,
Hola.
and we're here to talk about some video games. More specifically, we're here to discuss the whole situation going down with Nintendo and Pocketpair as the whole situation with the lawsuit is continuing to heat up with this crazy new development that basically is putting the entire video game industry in danger. Here's an article from Polygon states shocking Pokemon patent raids red flags for the gaming industry. The Pokemon Company and Nintendo's fight against Palworld is continuing to intensify. Now, before we get into it, if you like what we do here, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Now, in this article, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have been granted a patent related to the Pokemon series, which could pose a quote unquote fundamental threat to creativity and innovation in the games industry, according to a new report and analysis from a patent lawyer. And now, the patent originally reported by Games Freight, the patent number 12,400. It's a long number, but it was filled in 2013, and now obviously it was filled on September 2nd without any objection. Um, it was basically it's a summoning mechanic. The summon mechanic of simply allowing you to throw monsters out of any object, any like device, whatever, onto the field, and basically summon a creature for battle. They are able to file a patent for that, and so many other games basically fail this patent. So the fact that this isn't just going to mess with Palworld, this is also going to mess with every game that has some mechanic like Final Fantasy, like Ark Survival. There's every like Pokemon-ish style of game that's not Palworld. It's the most absurd thing ever. Now, just going off that, this is the most absurd thing because this is a USA patent, not a Japanese patent. And the fact that this was able to just go through without any objection is absurd. I honestly, I would just go as far as to say this is a failure of the U.S. Patent Office in general. That someone isn't doing their job, basically.
Well, on top of that, too, you can also reject the patent. So you can go through United States patent and get it rejected. You can
You can
file
you
a, you,
can
you can file a grievance or a patent rejection.
okay.
So you can go through that if it is something incredibly outrageous, like for the company itself. So it's but yeah, no, like what you're saying to the fact that this was able to be allowed through the United States patent is
It's so stupid,
it's
man.
yeah, a little bit maybe nearsighted, and whoever was kind of doing it probably didn't really look into it as best as one should
Yeah,
throughout the whole situation. So
basically. I mean, like at some point, you got to do your job and actually look through these patents. Because I get it, the patents are extremely long, extremely boring to go
and
through.
you're getting a lot of these patents every day too. So it's not just, they're going
Mm,
through tons and tons of patents. Hence the long number you just noticed right now,
yeah,
under thousands
one,
of,
2, 4, 0, 3, 3, 9, 7.
yeah, yeah.
It's
So
just
it's a long process though, um, but for that to honestly, yeah, no, I think it just kind of goes back to Nintendo, what Nintendo's trying to honestly pull right here, and it just seems like again going back to a company that's being incredibly petty at the moment. Was all this naturally happen? It just feels like now this is starting to become more begrudgingly them trying to stamp their way onto everything. So instead of, working on trying to make great games, we're just going to try to do what we can to stop patents and then now force everybody to be able to pay for us though. But now by doing this in going through this channel, going through the United States patent to get this done, it's almost like you're basically want to start war with every other company too. You want to go after Sony, you want to go after
mm,
Square Enix, you want to go after Activision Blizzard, which is owned by Microsoft. That's basically almost a call to war to all the other major big companies that have games that have this kind of mechanic. So I really don't really understand what Nintendo's trying to pull by going through this whole scenario, other than just
Going mask off and saying fuck it. That's what they're doing.
instead of you basically deciding we're just going to go scorch earth and take on everybody at the moment. Because again, if they thought that, I don't know if there was a real grand thought process about going through this, because if you just thought you were just going after smaller companies, they really didn't think this one through.
They clearly did not. I mean, just the whole concept of going after Palworld simply because it has a mechanic similar to Pokemon is ridiculous in of itself. Because yeah, it was a popular game, it's doing well, and I'm still rooting for it, but it's still not Pokemon. Like, it's still not the top. It's still like Pokemon is still always going to be the OG. It's always going to be, again, the top. It's always going to be on the top of the mountain when it comes to these monster creature collection and battle games. But they desperately wanted to be the mountain. They didn't want to be on top of the mountain. They wanted to be on the mountain, the only creature capture
They
game out
wanted to
there.
be Mount Everest, that Mount Machu Picchu. They wanted to be the
Mount
only.
Fuji.
Well, yeah, that's the mountain I was trying to think of. I was
Yeah,
just spitting
they
out other
wanted to be Mount
mountains,
Fuji.
because I thank you for pointing that out, though. But yeah, it is going to be it is going to be very interesting to see what happens within maybe the next couple of hours. I would say days, but I think within maybe yeah, I guess you could say the next couple of days, and how all these other big companies are going to respond to hearing this. Because again, like you said, Final Fantasy has this mechanic. Diablo has this mechanic.
Mhm.
World of Warcraft has the same exact mechanic. Everybody is introduced into this mechanic. So, yeah, no, it is definitely going to be interesting to see how all this gets responded.
Yeah, I hope it gets responded with retaliation. That's what I'm hoping, because this is a massive overreach. It's laziness from the patent office and a massive overreach from just
Nintendo
like Nintendo
itself,
itself.
you know, it
Because reading the article, it says it was approved September 2nd, 2023, 30 months ago, that this patent was like registered.
September 22nd, 2023.
Yes. Yes.
So that was 2 years back.
Yes. It was just, and it's just like, what the heck?
Yeah, that is a little weird. This is probably when I forgot. So when did the lawsuit? When did Nintendo decided to go after the lawsuit? This was 2 years ago. Same. This was what would it be around the same time that Nintendo went after Palworld.
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
So they sneakily did this while they were going after their lawsuit in Japan. They came to America to stamp that
Yeah.
while they're going after Palworld in Japan.
Yes.
Hmm.
All right.
Interesting.
I guess just to leave some comments, someone who read the patent said that it's apparently intended for an auto battle system. Okay, but
Well,
like,
before you do that, who is the person
it's
that
just
you're
a
reading?
person named LG123.
And this is from what website?
Yeah, again, Polygon.
Thank you.
Yeah, just from Polygon. I just don't know. It's just like he said. This user is claiming that the patent doesn't like affect everything, and it's just a sensationalism. But like,
It's not about what if it doesn't affect. It's what it's sending a message about at the end of the day.
I do think so. Yeah, it really doesn't matter if it's just supposed to be only in a specific case. It still affects games regardless.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. If he's whoever this gentleman is probably trying to spin it more in better legality. Yeah, it was affect like you said. It's affecting a certain situation though. But again, this is like a warning shot for anybody that decides to make a monster hunter game catching game moving forward. That's really what it's trying to send its message to.
Very much so. I mean,
As well as anybody that wants to try to release these games now too. And on top of that, and like you said, not only can't they go after games that are coming out in the future, they can technically throw those claims out to any games that are released right now
Yeah.
because it's now in patent. Again, I believe this is. I believe multiple gaming companies are probably going to come out to repeal this, especially in the United States, because like Nintendo with the F.
Yeah. I
Yo,
mean,
yo,
just I mean,
you're outreaching your hand, man. It's like is Nintendo going back to imperialistic Japan or something like this
I
at the
mean,
moment?
like
Like,
the
what is
days of
this?
like
Like,
Nintendo, they were really like aggressive with protecting their IP. I
they've always
remember,
been. I know
yeah, they've
that.
always been protective. Like, I mean, in fact, they had to. I remember the days of, like, I believe it was the NES or Super NES,
Hmm.
where they put out like an ad, a PSA to say to tell people to stop referring to other game consoles as a Nintendo. Like back in soccer moms calling your game sister a Nintendo. He's playing the Nintendo again, even though it's a Sega Genesis. They put out a PSA to say stop calling our systems a
That's
Nintendo.
understandable. I get that. Like
Hmm.
I totally get that though. But this is like outreaching the hand. Again, speaking of another thing with Nintendo, they won a lawsuit against a person that was doing modifications to the Switch 2 a couple of days ago with that
Yeah, I
lost
mean,
modification. I mean,
again, that's again
I know.
understandable, but the amount of coal raking they did on the guy, I feel was like overkill.
No,
Like,
and that's kind of where I'm getting at. It's like Nintendo is just throwing their lawyer muscle around on everybody, and when they do it, they want to rake them through the ground. Like they really want to embarrass them. On top of that, now unfortunately that guy didn't have any kind of legal representation too,
hmm
which I totally understand. Though it's expensive to get a lawyer now these days, man. To even have that kind of representation against a juggernaut that is Nintendo at the moment. But it's just trying for me to illiterate. It's just how far Nintendo will go to throw their legal muscle at anybody right now just to prove a point.
yeah, it's just I there really isn't much else I could say at this point. It's just
And
like
it's gonna be weird because I feel like we're gonna be glazing Nintendo in a couple hours within this Nintendo Direct. But
I
other than
mean, I don't
that,
glaze Nintendo anymore. I mean,
oh
again,
man.
I don't own a Nintendo. I own a Nintendo Switch. I don't own a Switch 2, and have zero plans to own a Switch 2 because it doesn't have anything that I'm really interested in. Anything that's third party, I'm just gonna get on PC.
Hmm.
Basically, the only game that might make me get a Switch is Smash Brothers, and that's basically it. So no. And even then, I'm not expecting much from the direct that's coming up in a few hours from this recording. But it's whatever, man. Nintendo, get your shit together. Like, stop this and let gamers game, please. But yeah, that's basically all we're gonna say at this point. What do you think about the news of Nintendo and this patent? Do you think it's justified? Do you think Nintendo's off the rocker? Let us know in the comments below. But if you like what we do here, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm Mike with Isaac, and we are saying peace.